When the first superhuman appeared, people believed it was a miracle. When the first superhuman criminal appeared, people believed it was the beginning of turmoil. When superhumans occupy 0.42% of the total population, everyone realizes that this will be a revolution and the existing order will be overturned. When the first player to occupy superhuman consciousness appeared, the world realized that it was an unprecedented natural disaster. The fourth natural disaster AFK author returns. The old book has a high order of 12,000, with an average order of 2,900. My character is guaranteed. I know, my new book has been popular for a year, but I'm talking about updated character, so you should take it seriously. Keywords of the novel. I give the world destruction and rebirth no pop-ups. I give the complete TXT collection of World Destruction and Rebirth for download, and I give the latest chapters of World Destruction and Rebirth for reading. Chapter 1 Preface. Opening of nuclear explosions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Preface. Opening of nuclear explosions. Congratulations, Tang. From today on, you will be a sheriff. Be careful, dear. Those robbers with prosthetics are not for fun. Our wedding is going to take place next month, and I didn't expect you to still be injured. Tang. Can you hear me? Damn it. Are you crazy? There are 8 fully armed lunatics inside. You can't always be so lucky. You're getting married next week. Think of Angelina. Wishing you all happiness. I should have suggested that the director transfer you to a civilian position, otherwise Angelina will shoot and die one day. Forget it, I won't say that today. Let's have a good drink. 8th block needs support. There's a monster here who can spew fire. Let SWAT people come. Dawn. Come back, are you crazy? Did he wake up? Oh my God, he's really a hero, isn't he? If it weren't for him, heaven knows how many people would die. Damn it, Tang, how should I explain to Angelina? You always like to show off your heroism. Hello, I am a sales representative from LS Road Group. We have recently launched a combat prosthetic, and police officers can get a 30% discount when purchasing. It is only valid on the day of injury. Get lost. He was injured to save talent. You vampires, without us, you would all be ruined. Wait, give me your contact information. This is the surveillance footage of the day, and we can clearly see that this person created flames out of thin air. The flames lasted for 15 minutes, causing at least 3 law enforcement officers casualties. This footage seems to confirm the existence of superhumans. Now we will transfer the footage to Dr. Lane of the University of Clinton. Thank you. From a biological perspective, I don't think the term supernatural power can be discussed here. I know many netizens have uploaded similar videos during this period, but I can confirm that most of them are fake. Can you explain why the man in this high-definition video can create flames? He didn't install prosthetics or carry any equipment. I can't, but I think we should care more about the injured law enforcement officer. Darling, I like your new arm. We can draw some colorful lines on it to decorate it. Don't be so unhappy. I know 26 months loan is a burden for us, but I love you more than anything else, isn't it? And they also gave you 6 months paid vacation. How about we go on a trip to Hawaii? They have a prosthetic painting festival there this month, should we attend? Angelina is already 9 months pregnant, Dawn. You should be accompanying her in the delivery room instead of patrolling with me here. You know, everyone hopes you can quickly get rid of the impact of that incident, so our colleagues in the bureau have pooled some money together. Don't rush to refuse, they are all sincere. If it weren't for you at the time, the situation would have been even worse. Not everyone has the courage to face and shoot superhuman criminals. That's right, Tang. Buy a bouquet of flowers, settle the loan, and wait for a few more months for the prize money to be distributed. You can consider switching to a nanny car, thanks to those superhumans' blessings. Our salaries have risen much faster than before. Don't laugh at me, I'm just waiting to buy a retro version of a Harley electric motorcycle when I retire. According to reports from our channel, another explosion has occurred at the power plant, and the power outage will last for at least 3 hours. Citizens are advised to stay at home as much as possible and remain calm. According to reports from our channel, a group of superhuman criminal organizations claiming to be in Los Angeles are wreaking havoc in the city and have now spread to 4th, 7th, and 9th Streets. The law enforcement department is organizing personnel to block the streets, and it is said that the National Guard is ready to enter the city. Tang, where are you? Angelina is giving birth. Cars are everywhere on the street, and I don't know if we can reach the hospital smoothly. I know, I will avoid there, and we will meet directly at the hospital. Tang, I know you're in a hurry, but at this speed, we might just drive straight to heaven. God bless me, I'll retire in 7 months. Wait, Tang, something's wrong. Have you seen the drone in the sky? It's the military's blocker for drone. The last time I saw it was during the Second Enterprise War. It was specifically used to block electronic signals. Call the headquarters, damn it, the police signal is also blocked. Dawn, we need to get to the hospital quickly. I feel like something big is going to happen. Those superhumans must have done something to make the military explode. This is Los Angeles Channel 1, and I don't know how many people can still receive our signal. But we have received an email from the self-proclaimed Los Angeles organization, claiming to have activated nuclear bombs and demanding that the government agree to their conditions within 24 hours. However, we have not yet known what conditions they have proposed. We are Los Angeles, we are the banner of superhumans, and the government has ignored our existence. They do not believe that we represent the direction of human evolution. Now we need to speak our own voice, right today. Right here. We want everyone to see our determination. According to reports from our channel, the terrorist organization Los Angeles brazenly detonated a tactical nuclear warhead in the city center, causing at least 15,000 deaths and over 80,000 injuries. This is an unprecedented terrorist attack, and a military spokesperson has just released a statement. Tang, are you okay? Don't worry about me, go find Angelina. Since we're still alive, it proves that the explosion center is still far away from us. Maybe there's still hope. I'm okay, go quickly, I can take care of myself. My God. Sir, please stand still and hand over the child to me. I swear, we will take care of him. I don't know if the radiation will affect him, you need to be mentally prepared. May I ask the mother of the child to apologize and express her condolences. Hello, Mr. Tang, we have met again. It seems that you are still satisfied with our company's prosthetics. Unfortunately, every time we meet, it is because of tragedy, but the purpose of LS Road Company is to minimize the severity of the tragedy. Our laboratory is very interested in what happens to children. No, please stay calm. I assure you that in the current situation, the attention from our laboratory is definitely the best news you have received in recent years. Yes, we suspect that your child is not just suffering from radiation sickness. He may be a superhuman who was interrupted by that tragedy before completing his transformation completely. Perhaps we can learn the secrets of superhumans through him. By signing this agreement, LS Road Company will fully bear the medical expenses of the child during the experiment period, and we guarantee that all future experiments will be conducted on the premise of ensuring the child's life extension. Each new experimental plan needs to be signed and approved by you before it can be implemented. Listen, Tang, I know this is difficult for you, but it's the best option. Our monthly salary is not enough to cover the cost of a 2-hour survival cabin. If Angelina is still alive, she will agree. By the way, what is the child's name? Tang Anren. I don't know what this name means in your Chinese culture, but I can hear a connection between this name and Angelina. I'm old and I'll take this opportunity to retire. I'll help you keep an eye on the people at LS Road Laboratory. Don't rush to thank me. I don't have a son, only a daughter. She wishes I could die soon and sell my house. I always treat you like my own child. You can't be blinded by hatred. I'm not blind. I can see flames in your eyes. I know all the miscellaneous members of the Los Angeles organization are heinous, but you can't just deal with it alone. They can even get a nuclear bomb. Listen to me, think of the kids, forget about them. Impossible. P.S. AFK has been around for a year, but upon returning, I found that the author's backend has changed. It took me some time to readjust, and I hope that Old Mo's new book can be recognized by both new and old readers. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Red Day Commemoration. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Red Day Commemoration. Tang Ji suddenly opened his eyes, his muscles tensed all over, and his gaze was like that of a fierce tiger, ready to devour someone. Like the previous 365 days, Tangji experienced that night in a nightmare, with radiating flames burning everything and black snow scattered on the wreckage of the car. Today is the anniversary of the Night City nuclear fire, and they refer to it as a Red Day. After the nuclear explosion, a large amount of concrete and steel were crushed into granular dust, suspended in the clouds above the city, and the sky was dyed red, which has persisted until now. Dawn, it's me, Edward. I heard you changed partners again last week. Child, the world is different, you. Forget it, be careful yourself, don't forget that you still have concerns in this world. LS Road Group reminds you that your RHC.3 reinforced prosthetic is nearing its maintenance period. You can go to the nearest store for maintenance, and you can enjoy a 25% discount on online reservations. Are you still worried about the fire of the Red Sun a year ago? Are you still afraid of the increasing number of gunmen on the street? Our company has launched a new anti-terrorism insurance. The video recording before the phone recording started playing, Tang Ji impatiently threw the police badge over and accurately hit the touch screen. He began to wear his own equipment, with flashy advertising slogans painted under the NCPD printed bulletproof vests. Since the city government outsourced law enforcement agencies 4 months ago, their bulletproof vests have become mobile advertising spaces. This week's advertisement is for Caesar's Casino. At least the lion head looks a bit domineering, much stronger than the pole dancer at the Queen's Club last night. It is said that the PR manager of Daniao Zhuan Bar has increased the advertising fee to 3 times the market price, but half of the grassroots law enforcement officers below swear that if the Bureau really accepts that advertisement, they will resign and go home. Tang Ji doesn't care at all about the advertisements he wears on himself. He only knows that today is Red Day and the city must be very lively. Today is a big day, especially for those superhumans. He may be able to catch a few jerks who happen to know the Los Angeles organization. A year ago, the Red Sun forced the entire society to face the demands of those strange creatures. They wanted privileges, from social subsidies to extra-legal amnesties. They wanted almost everything. Tangji doesn't know when the first superhuman appeared, but from the reaction of the upper structure, they had already noticed the existence of superhumans and concealed this news, but their numbers and exposure were increasing. Tangji first learned about the existence of superhumans in a video of a puppy, where a black guy stood half a meter high on the water, fishing. Most superhuman abilities are limited to the level of pranks, but a very small portion of them are truly troublesome. For example, the first superhuman that Tangi truly faced, the fireman Brando Zabrook, could spray 1,000 tails of flames, cleanly burning 35% of Tangi's skin and one arm. Of course, he also paid the price. Tangi stuffed his pistol into his mouth and fired 3 shots. For example, the superhumans in the Los Angeles organization are another concept. A superhuman, separated by 12 kilometers, stole a nuclear warhead and everything in the surrounding 2 square meters from a heavily guarded military base. Even the reinforced concrete land was dug up to a depth of half a meter. This year, Tangji has been secretly searching for the traces of that group of superhumans. If a thief could steal something from a few kilometers away, he would definitely not steal it only once. But he gained nothing. All the information related to the Los Angeles organization was like being erased, and even the network experts in the bureau couldn't find any information. This is not a military tactic. There is a rumor on the internet that there is a superhuman in Los Angeles who can hack into the internet. Maybe they took the initiative to hide themselves. This is the original words of the eyeglasses guy in the bureau, but Tang Ji can't trust him. Since that bastard Adams took over the law enforcement agency, the technical group of nerds has become much more difficult to deal with than before. Tang Ji knows his current interpersonal relationships are very bad, but he doesn't care. His heart has been dead since the day of the Red Sun. Many of the police officers he knew were posthumously recognized as heroes of the Night City on the day of the Red Sun, with their names engraved on the walls at the entrance of the Law Enforcement Bureau. Later, with the privatization of the Night City Law Enforcement Unit, another group of elderly people walked away. And those newcomers, Tang Ji, looked more like bounty hunters. Tang Ji started the patrol car with a cold face, and a cold AI voice sounded in his ear. Law Enforcement Officer 099. Tang Ji, your new partner has been assigned. Please check the detailed information on your personal terminal. Additionally, your complaint rate exceeded the standard value of 172% last week. Manager Adams would like to have a conversation with you. In addition, the mental health counseling we have scheduled for you has been postponed for 42 days. The mental health counseling service is a benefit provided by the Night City Law Enforcement Bureau to employees. Shut up. Tang Ji punched the touch screen. He had a lot of things to do today, and talking to that bullshit manager and providing mental health counseling were not among them. Warning: intentional damage to company property, deduct 2 points from monthly performance score. Tang Ji smashed the screen with his iron fist, and the car immediately quieted down. He put on his earphones and slowly drove the car out of the block. A skull pattern painted by someone on the front of the car covered the foolish advertisement below. Tang Ji thought the pattern was quite good and matched his mood today, so he ignored it. Dear, our baby will definitely be very cute, with eyes following me and nose following you. He will grow tall and strong in the future, just like you, but not as irritable as you. I hope he can politely invite girls to dance, instead of relying on stopping the robber's accident to win the girl's heart. After we finish paying off the loan for the prosthetics, we will save money to buy a bigger house, preferably with a garden, and have a dog to grow up with our baby. It must be adorable. The recordings of past phone calls were played in the headphones, immersing Tang Ji in them, almost forgetting the emptiness in his heart, until he saw a flashy Ford in front of him. Tang Ji stepped on the gas pedal all the way and collided with the car in front with a loud bang. What the hell are you seeing? How dare these NCPDs provoke me? The bald man in a tight tank top kicked open the car door and got off the car with a fierce gaze. Then Tang Ji also got off the car, his hazy eyes like dead people in the morgue. He saw a symbol representing the Los Angeles organization on the back of the bald car. A pattern representing DNA double helix fragments, pierced through by a long sword from the middle, represents the evolution of superhumans. Since the Red Sun, many idiots who worship superpowers have regarded this pattern as totemic worship. At the moment he saw Tang Ji, the bald man's voice decreased by 8 degrees. Obviously, he had heard many rumors about Tang Ji from his friends, but he clearly did not want to lose face in front of his new friends. Officer, have you drunk too much? I'm driving normally. The bald man tried his best to squeeze his brain, hoping to say something that would not lose face and would not let the law enforcement officers in front of him grab the handle. Unfortunately, today is a special day, so special that Tang Ji is too lazy to even go through symbolic procedures. P.S. So what, asking for tickets, seeking recommendations, collecting, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. Superhumans. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Superhumans. He kicked the bald knee with an indistinguishable speed to the naked eye, causing the other person to scream and kneel down. The left hand, replaced by a prosthetic limb, tightly grabbed the other person's neck and pressed the bald cheek against the logo of the Los Angeles organization, saying, "Do you know it? You're dead. You're dead." Bald shouted as he reached out to his waist, "I'm going to kill you." Posting illegal organization signs. Fine 500. Tanji pulled up his bald upper body with one hand and pressed down hard, his face once again slammed onto the logo of Los Angeles. Refusing to cooperate with the law enforcement, imprisoned for 5 days. Next, with the powerful force of the prosthetics, the bald face and the car's buttocks fought back, spitting out 3 teeth and a mouthful of blood. With another kick, he kicked away the handgun from his bald waist and said, "Carrying deadly weapons, planning to attack law enforcement officers, sentenced to more than 15 years in prison. Now tell me, what sign is this?" The prosthetic exerted force and pressed the bald face tightly against the sign of Los Angeles, unable to close its eyes. "This is the logo of Los Angeles, what do you think of it?" A young man dressed in trendy sportswear angrily rushed out of the car, wearing a government-issued white wristband symbolizing superhuman identity on his wrist. After the Red Sun incident, the upper echelons finally realized that the existence of superhumans could no longer be hidden from the public, and could only hastily introduce a symbolic superhuman statistics bill, requiring superhumans to actively report to the public in the form of subsidies. Provide subsidies to superhumans. Just like the previous Red Sun incident was just a child's play, Tang Ji snorted coldly. He has his own way and attitude towards dealing with superhumans. What's my opinion on it? Child, you're really asking the right person. Tanji suppressed the urge to twist his bald neck and threw him out. You should ask, what's my opinion on you guys? Great, what did I see? A law enforcement officer who harbors extreme hatred towards superhumans. A punk girl dressed in revealing clothes and wearing a mosaican hairstyle got out of the car from the other side, holding her PDA in her hand. I'm live streaming to my friends. Do you want to do something outrageous? Something out of line? Tang Ji licked his lips and loosened the button on his collar. On this special day, these little superhumans gathered here, heading towards the scars left by Birosa for this city. What could be more outrageous than this? He knew he had a problem and had too much prejudice against superhumans, but every time he closed his eyes, what he saw was the black snow of that night, as well as Tang Anren, who survived by relying on a survival pod in the laboratory. I suspect you have connections with the Los Angeles organization, and now we are going to arrest you. You can remain silent, but every word you say next is a testimony in court. Tangi said useless nonsense, his mind highly focused. He was speculating about the abilities of the 2 superhumans in front of him. Although the girl didn't wear a bracelet, Tangji had already assumed that they were both superhumans. In the past 6 months, Tang Ji has killed and arrested over 70 superhuman criminals, almost suppressing the arrogance of the superhuman criminals in Night City after the Red Sun incident with his own efforts. He relies on his life, willpower, and brain. Unfortunately, as the entire upper class began to accept the existence of superhumans, coupled with law enforcement agencies being outsourced to military contractors, the support that the Bureau could provide to him became increasingly limited. The young man in front of him raised a hand and extended his index finger to aim at Tangji in a pistol-like manner. Although his behavior seemed ridiculous, when Tangji knew that these superhuman abilities were varied, even if he fired a missile with his finger, Tangji would not be surprised. But fortunately, the young man only simulated the sound of gunfire with his mouth. With a sharp flash, Tangji's previous standing position was hit by a bullet, leaving a shallow pit. Very good, a useless person who replaced firearms with superpowers. Tangji sneered and without hesitation, pulled out his gun to fight back. His recorder had already fully recorded the footage of the other person attacking the law enforcement officer. However, before he fired, he seemed to have been forcefully pushed, and when he turned his head, the punk girl was holding onto his temple with one hand and staring at him intently. Suspected position is superhuman. Or is it a control system? Tanji cannot accurately judge the other person's ability, but he knows that this girl is far more dangerous than the boy. Tang-ji calmly dodged another mouthpiece cannon and temporarily disappeared from the girl's sight using a law enforcement vehicle as cover. He knew that most superhumans, especially those who awaken shortly after, rely on the naked eye to target. He habitually grabbed the walkie-talkie on his chest to call for support, but gave up on this plan with a lonely smile. Tang-ji knew that there were no brothers in the bureau who could support him for life and death at the first time. That group of new employees who only want to receive their salary can only complete the tasks assigned by the manager on the PDA. In Tanji's eyes, the manager named Adams is almost as disgusting as the Los Angeles organization. "Come out, coward." The mouthed young man also hid behind the car, shouting fiercely. The law enforcement officer's act of pulling out his gun without hesitation just now frightened him. Tang-ji casually threw out a heat-source smoke bomb, which was not a standard police equipment, but a private item he entrusted to his military friends to obtain. It was particularly useful for dealing with superhumans. Counting a few times, when the smoke dissipated, Tanji silently walked into the smoke and walked straight towards the direction of the punk girl, shooting 2 shots towards the remembered position. The screams of the punk girl pierced through the smoke, and Tanji was certain that he had met Choi today. He had probably never killed anyone, but he didn't care. They want to attack the craters left by Birosas and dare to launch attacks on the first law enforcement officers. No matter what, it makes Tanji feel no need for mercy. Tang-ji quickly walked through the smoke area and saw a panicked young man who didn't know whether to check his companions first or block the path first. He waved his iron fist and broke his nose, then stepped on his face and shot the young man's palm. He took out an electric shock collar and fastened it around the young man's neck. As a precaution, he wrapped tape around his mouth and said, "If I hear any sound from you, you're dead." The young man was so frightened that he forgot the sharp pain in his palm and nodded vigorously. Tanji turned around and walked around the car to the punk girl. Just now, those 2 shots had pierced her legs, and the opposing side was leaning against the wheel. With a painful expression on his face, he extended his middle finger to Tanji, while the other hand persisted in aiming the PDA at Tanji. Tang-ji snatched the PDA and glanced at the screen. A live streaming software was running, and the overwhelming subtitles were drifting by. "Deadlock, you're dead. Dare to shoot Judy. I'll drive to the Night City now and take you down. I have already reported to the Superior Supervisory Department, Violent Law Enforcement. Severe punishment. Those who are going upstairs to the Night City, let's go together. I have a car, and I can still pull 4 people. Fuck him." Tang-ji leaned his face close to the screen and said coldly, "My name is Tang-ji. Welcome to Night City, I'm waiting for you." Then he crushed the PDA, picked up the punk girl, handcuffed her arms together from behind, and said, "I didn't see your bracelet. Let me briefly introduce your abilities. Go to hell. You're a dead chip." The punk girl tried to resist, but Tang-ji poked the wound on her leg before she calmed down. The 2 newly awakened brats may not have even seen blood before. Tang-ji frowned, at least they had never seen their own blood before. "Be honest, I'm actually more than happy to kill you all directly," Tang-ji said in the girl's ear, bowing his head. "There are too many people here, that's the only reason you're still alive. Imagine what would happen if we met at night. Don't scare the children, Tang. My phone has been knocked out. Do you know that the ugly duckling in your hand has 300,000 fans?" A polished and shiny patrol car drove all the way up to Tang-ji before stopping. "P.S. I successfully entered the signing process in the afternoon, and it's still 2 shifts a day, so I accidentally stepped out of the new book period." End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Today is a good day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Today is a good day. Michael Fabinski, the star law enforcement officer of the new law enforcement agency, has been named the best spokesperson for the agency for 3 consecutive months. He is Adam's favorite and has over 50,000 followers on his personal page. He is a well-dressed jerk. Well, it's a bit excessive to say that. Fabinski is one of the few veteran law enforcement officers like Tanji who has been working until now, but he obviously is more suited to the current way of working. Wearing an improved law enforcement uniform, Tanji bet that the outfit would crack if it moved a little more, but it undoubtedly highlighted Fabinski's figure, which is why he changed girlfriends every week. Let's go, audience gentlemen. You've seen enough of the excitement, don't get stuck in the road, otherwise I'll have to give you all a ticket. Fabinski instructed a few interns to clear the traffic, then took off his sunglasses and walked over to Tanji, frowning as he looked at the mess. Okay, superhumans, the Lothar emblem, shooting, bleeding, I can probably reconstruct how all of this happened. Fabinski casually put his sunglasses in his pocket. Why don't you give these 2 reckless ghosts to me? And then you go get busy with you. If you press her like this again, she'll be bleeding to death. Tanji took a step back and allowed the punk girl to fall and sit on the ground. He had no objection to Fabinski, although the 2 of them had taken different paths. Fabinski was at least much stronger than the bounty hunters in the bureau. Fabinski waved his hand, and the interns quickly stepped forward to help deal with the gunshot wound. The sound of an ambulance in the distance was getting closer and closer. I can't help you this time, Tang. You caught that ugly duckling, a rising star in the superhuman circle, and there are many fans. You intentionally crashed a car, then violently enforced the law, and shot the superhuman in a video. Now it's flying everywhere. Fabinski whispered, Adams had a heart attack at the time, and he had to rely on special drugs to recover. I guess you must have left this time. After today, I'll leave on my own. Tanji turned around and was about to drive away. Halfway through, he suddenly turned around and swung his tactical stick, fiercely hitting the logo of the Los Angeles organization. With just a few hits, the rear of the car sank and the pattern became incomplete and uneven. Fabinski shrugged and pointed to the bald head on the ground, shouting to the interns, take that bastard away too, illegally hang terrorist organization logos, attack law enforcement officers, and investigate if he has any criminal records. Let him sit through the prison. Looking at Tang Ji's distant figure, Fabinski reluctantly called Manager Adams. In fact, he is not very suitable for such a commercialized title, but there is no way that the contractor does not want the law enforcement agency's managers to sound so authoritative. That's right, he left. Today is the red day and also his wife's death day. Fabinski frowned after finishing speaking, I know I should stop him, but I don't want to. I advise you not to provoke him. He's like a powder keg now, just focus on your own performance. Tang Ji didn't care about the chaos behind him. As a law enforcement officer, he knew he shouldn't have harbored hatred towards the entire superhuman community due to the Red Sun incident. After all, according to the latest statistical records, the number of superhumans has exceeded that of many ethnic minorities. Strictly speaking, this is considered discrimination. But Tang Ji couldn't let go, nor did he want to. He drove all the way to the city center, in contrast to other cities. Because of the nuclear explosion, the more Night City went towards the city center, the more desolate it became. Although the Los Angeles organization used low-yield tactical nuclear bombs and detonated them in the air, there was still a considerable amount of radiation left here. The city government has outsourced the work of eliminating radiation to Corinthians Corporation, a giant in the chemical industry, at the cost of reducing radiation levels and covering 1/3 of the entire city center's land. After a year of effort by Corinthians, the radiation levels here have now decreased to a level where ordinary people no longer have to worry about dying from cancer due to shopping. Armed security personnel with the Corinthians logo can be seen everywhere on the street, and this company has already regarded this place as its own territory. These people have no scruples about the words NCPD on Tangji cars, at least they don't need to spray advertisements on the car doors. The nuclear explosion a year ago completely exposed the ability of Night City to respond to emergencies, which is why there was a strange incident of law enforcement agencies outsourcing to private contractors later on. The newly elected legislators almost unanimously approved this decision. At the same time, it was also a test by large enterprises for this alliance. After the success of the pioneers, the latecomers bravely arrived, and urban reconstruction projects, transportation, logistics, and so on were all divided up by the enterprises. In just a few months, the new mayor of Night City gave the city the most beautiful financial report in the league. Everyone is speculating whether the alliance and the enterprise have once again entered a honeymoon period. Today, the central area is much livelier than before, with groups of outsiders coming here with various purposes to visit the traces left by the nuclear explosion a year ago. For superhumans, Los Angeles is like a flag. After they disappear, many superhuman organizations of all sizes have emerged, shouting for the rights of superhumans. However, their methods are not as fierce as Los Angeles, and their influence is even more difficult to reach. The main reason, of course, is that there are no superhumans like those in the Gnosis organization who can challenge social order among these publicly visible superhuman organizations. Tang Jijin believes that he can find the key to Gnosis today. They have been missing for a year, and many people say they were secretly eliminated by the military after the Red Sun. Major media outlets are also hinting at this possibility. If they want to prove to the world that they still exist, they will definitely not miss today. Tang Ji looked up at the ubiquitous swarm of drones in the sky. Obviously the military also anticipated this possibility. Empty buildings were left behind, and Tang Ji's car was soon left on the road. The radiation monitoring equipment in the patrol car occasionally gave a weak warning. Tang Ji quickly turned onto a road that had not yet been cleared by the Corinthians company. The abandoned vehicles on the roadside remained the same as they were a year ago, and time seemed frozen here. Tang Ji quickly found his goal. A silver-gray nanny car overturned on the roadside, which is where Angelina died. Tang Ji pulled over in a daze. Everything seemed to have happened yesterday, with Angelina's smile and a bloody baby alternating in front of him. He still remembers how he, under the guidance of an old woman, used a dagger to extract new life from his lover's body. A year has passed, and I thought I couldn't hold on for so long. Tang Ji leaned against the nanny's car and lit a cigarette. I've been looking for those bastards for a year. They're like mice in the sewer, but they're sure to show up today. I have a premonition. Don't worry about us, LS Road Company is a bit conscientious. Anren rarely cries, and the old man accompanies him every day. Tang Ji coughed a few times. He used to be a heavy smoker, but now he has quit smoking to improve his physical fitness. Only when he comes here will he smoke a few cigarettes. I have saved a lot of money, enough for them to use in the future. Angelina likes the way he smokes, but Tang Ji knows what kind of person he has to face. He is not a superhuman, and self-discipline and willpower are his greatest assets. Today is a good day, I feel closer to you than usual. Tang Ji flicked off his cigarette ash and took out his prepared weapon from the dark compartment of the nanny car. Killing or being killed, there is always one thing that can calm his soul. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Hunter and Game 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Hunter and Game 1. Sir, we have found an NCPD on the north side of the Memorial Square carrying an unauthorized high-performance precision rifle. Do we need to stop him? The drone's camera zoomed in and projected Tang Ji onto a screen in an underground command center. Don't worry about him, mark him as a friendly unit. The commander glanced at Tang Ji's file and said, if the people of Los Angeles appear, use him as bait. Received. It doesn't sound good, has anyone targeted us? A soft voice suddenly appeared from behind the commander. The commander is a qualified soldier, and his first reaction is to jump forward, trying to distance himself. As long as he is given 0.5 seconds, he can hide behind the screen and launch a counterattack with his own gun. However, the reality is that as the commander pounced forward, the invisible thread cut him into 70 or 80 fragmented parts. The scavenger began to work, the disguiser prepared to take over the command center, and the door group blocked the signal. A woman appeared out of thin air, standing in the position of the previous commander in the horrified eyes of other soldiers. It's time to make some fun of this world. Tang Ji lay on the sniper position he had previously selected, which used to be the signal tower of the television station. Although it had been abandoned, the view was wide enough to monitor all possible locations of the surrounding Los Angeles organization. The square where they once made a declaration, the crater left by them after detonating a nuclear bomb, they appeared for the first time, showcasing the streets of superhuman power to the world. Will you come? Where will you come from? Tanji muttered to himself, swiping his sights one by one through the target area. There are already scattered pilgrims appearing here, some of whom are superhumans who agree with the philosophy of the Los Angeles organization, while others, like the bald-headed one Tang Ji taught today, are admirers who want to become superhumans. These people seem to feel that increasing contact with superhumans increases the likelihood of awakening, just like superhumans are some kind of infectious disease or radiation. Tanji, I saw you on the news. I know you can hear me, call me back. Old Edward's voice cut into the communicator, think ***, don't do anything foolish. Tang Ji knew that the old man was trying to say the words Enron. The chubby little guy, thanks to the confidentiality terms of LS Road Company, all information about Tang Enron would be blocked. Because of this, except for a few old colleagues who have experienced the Red Sun incident with Tang Ji, the outside world had no idea that he had a son who survived. That little guy has gone through a lot of hardships, and as a father, he hopes Tang Enron can hide well before completely eliminating the Los Angeles organization. He knew that if Los Angeles really appeared, his chances of success were really slim. But Tang Ji did not regret it. As the line of sight jumped over the exaggerated new awakenings, he finally felt a sense of calmness in his tired soul. One is good, I am not greedy. Time passed by minute by second, and Tanji was like a sculpture, approaching that special point in time from sunrise to sunset. And the target area in the distance is becoming increasingly lively, with thousands of people gathering there, and the roaring music is still piercing even from a few hundred meters away. The intoxicating lights shone around, and those newly awakened superhumans displayed their small tricks, harvesting the screams and worship of ordinary people. The crowd is dancing wildly. Tang Ji chewed on the energy stick with hot water, knowing that several superhuman groups were secretly guiding behind the Red Day Commemoration rally. Even the officials of Night City have to some extent tacitly allowed such gatherings to exist, and the newly appointed authorities do not care how much harm the Red Sun incident has caused to the people here. Because a think tank group has submitted a report indicating that if the City of Night could become the Jerusalem in the hearts of new humanity, its political status would rapidly rise. It is said that the new mayor of Night City, Luther, is interested in running for the next president and has shown goodwill towards superhumans to some extent, which is in his interest. Just as Tang Ji was lost in thought, a deep warning sound suddenly came from the communicator, which was the alarm from the motion detector he had left on the third floor of the TV station. Someone just passed through the corridor on the third floor. Tangji quietly got up and reached out to grab the M2032 pistol. The magazine contained a specially designed electric shock bullet that reduced penetration, but could release a 2A current at the moment of hitting the target, causing paralysis and killing the target. Scavenger 09, the target above your head is already ambushed behind the door, intending to give you a hard time. We have opened the game and bet you won't be able to kill him without a gun. That's right, Scavenger 09. We found his information here. His wife died in our last fireworks display operation. This is an Avenger's brother. We bet he'll fight his life to get rid of you. Don't call me the damn Scavenger 09, my name is, no one will waste time memorizing your catchy name, Scavenger 09. Hurry up and solve your target. We still have 14 sniper points to deal with. Look at me, don't use a gun. Bet. Let me give him some strength. Tang Ji leaned lightly against the wall, holding a gun in both hands, intending to shoot any living creature that entered the rooftop. But the next second, a chill from the bottom of his heart appeared from behind, and Tang Ji didn't hesitate to roll forward, a hint of a cold light strangely flashing past his previous position. Immediately after, a figure wearing a black tactical suit holding a dagger gradually emerged in the air. A superhuman, perhaps with the ability of invisibility or mimicry. Tang Ji calmly analyzed the possibility while calmly firing towards the target. In order to effectively combat superhuman criminals, Tang Ji spent several months learning Mozambican shooting techniques, gradually adjusting his shooting habits, and striving to cause more effective damage in close combat. 3 quick and precise shots, the first 2 on the chest and abdomen, and the third on the head, ensuring effective damage before killing, are the essence of Mozambique's shooting method. But special bullets are like hitting rubber, and with a flash of lightning, they are bounced off. Does the target have the ability to resist small caliber bullets, as well as insulation and composite ability to awaken? Tang Ji became excited, knowing that he was very likely to have caught a big fish. Of course, his top priority at the moment was how to subdue the opponent. As soon as he confirmed that the bullet had not caused any effective damage, Tang Ji dropped the smoke grenade he had just used in the morning, pulled down his breathing mask with his back hand, and quickly shifted his position. The dagger pierced through the smoke screen in the blink of an eye, leaving a scratch on Tang Ji's goggles and fiercely nailing it to the wall. Is strength slightly superior, not a superhuman with a strengthened physique? Have a hobby of using cold weapons. Having insulated skin. Perhaps a different weapon should be used to deal with it. Tang Ji took a small step and moved to the right side of the rooftop, using the power distribution box as a cover to hide, and took out a lightweight military flamethrower from inside. He spent a whole year scouting and setting up a battlefield, scattering over $400,000 in weapons here. This night, he is the hunter. P.S. I know my pace is slow. I haven't even released my golden finger in Chapter 4, but it's really fast. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Hunter and Game 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Hunter and Game 2. Oh. It's so explosive. It's a flamethrower. Scavenger 09 has encountered an opponent this time. In the underground command center, a group of superhumans occupying the magpie's nest excitedly clapped each other and said, "The odds of Scavenger 09 have increased." Is there any increase? Suddenly, the female communicator in charge of Superhuman Command lit up, and the command center immediately quieted down. She listened to the news coming from the communicator, and then answered with the same voice as the former commander. Report to the officer that everything is normal at Node 01. The interference just now may have been affected by Corinthians. We are stabilizing the channel again. Yes, we have completed the blockade. If the people of Los Angeles appear, we will definitely capture the living. As she spoke, the woman's body surface began to deform like a Rubik's Cube, and in just a few seconds, she completely transformed into the previous commander's appearance, even in clothes, simulating it. What's even more terrifying is that within the command center, other raiders also replaced their respective targets through various means. 3, 2, 1, all right, sir. We have cleared the interference and the signal channel has stabilized. The commander replied calmly, "Yes, I understand the importance of this operation, yes, I understand, and ensure the completion of the task. Good news, everyone. The live broadcast signal goes directly to W Palace, and our president will also watch." The commander hung up the signal and said to everyone, "Let's make a big fuss. Overthrow this world. Yeah. Disrupting this world." The disguisers clapped each other and cheered up like they were taking medicine. Don't expect anything that is lightweight or portable to last. In just 30 seconds, Tang Ji's flamethrower in his hand passed away, but the air within 15 meters in front of him was twisted. But that's not enough. Tanji relied on Edward's connections to read some reports of the military surrounding members of Los Angeles, in which all the people of Los Angeles were high-level warriors. Even if we strip them of their superhuman aura, the same goes for them. Tanji wanted to be a hunter, but he was well aware that the contrast between strength and weakness did not change with his will, so he did not rush forward. Instead, he slowly retreated back through the remaining smoke without making any sound. "You really made me anxious, country bumpkin." A voice with a smell of gunpowder appeared a few meters behind me, and Tang Ji's movements immediately froze. "Are you from Los Angeles?" Tanji didn't make any extra moves. 3 days ago, he set up 2 small minefields on this platform. Just now he wanted to retreat to one of the minefields and lure the enemy closer, but now he has a better idea. "I heard you've been looking for us all along." The voice approached jokingly. "I heard your wife died in that nuclear explosion. It's a pity, I haven't seen her yet. If we had known each other for a few days, I could have let her know what happiness is before she dies." Tang Ji was not angered by the words, and as a disadvantaged avenger, he prepared for this moment for a whole year. No rest, no entertainment, planning 24 hours a day, contemplating how to hunt down those truly superhumans. Trading one's life for another, catching the other person off guard is his best opportunity. Just one, he's not greedy. He has long regarded himself as a dead person, killing a bastard from Los Angeles and avenging Angelina is his obsession. Sweeper No. 9's dagger waved at his fingertips as he approached step by step. "Now, I'll be a good person. How about sending you to see your wife? I'll win the bet." Tang Ji remained motionless, just listening attentively. 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters. It's close enough. He suddenly turned around and twisted his muscles into a force, his pupils converging to the size of a needle tip. He pounced like a cheetah, using his iron arms as a shield, fiercely colliding with the enemy's side. Along with the equipment, a weight of over 100 kilograms carrying enormous potential energy, led the enemy to fall towards Tangji's left front. That's the minefield he preset. 3 Dow intelligent landmines arranged in a pin-shaped pattern were placed in the pre-buried pit. At the moment of detecting vibration, they all broke through the concrete-colored camouflage net and exploded in mid-air. That is the most powerful landmine that Tang Ji can buy, one of the most cost-effective products in Dow's military industry, and proven to be the best anti-exoskeleton infantry weapon in the Second Enterprise War. It extensively uses non-metallic components, except for a few necessary electronic parts, which are all driven by mechanical mechanisms and are not affected by electromagnetic interference. The true essence lies in the armor-piercing pieces splattered out after the explosion, which, if angled properly, can even penetrate tank armor. Tang Ji's final move was to use the strength advantage of his iron arms to forcefully flip the enemy's body and cover himself. This action is entirely driven by survival instincts, and Tanji is well aware that in front of Dow landmines, the human body is as fragile as a balloon, bursting with just one thrust. However, accompanied by the trembling body of the flesh shield, Tanji's protected torso did not suffer any fatal damage. Although the enemy's screams are pleasing to the ear, it is not normal for them to shout so joyfully within the effective killing range of the jumping thunder. Plank-failed Tang Ji forcefully pushed away the flesh shield on his body, and the opponent's face was almost flattened by shrapnel, but it was recovering at a visible speed to the naked eye, even for lenses that theoretically do not have the ability to recover. Invisible, insulated, bulletproof, self-healing, Tanji doesn't know what type of superhuman the other person is, but he knows his goal hasn't been achieved yet. He tried to stand up, but his legs, which were not within the protection range of the flesh shield, had almost no muscle tissue left, and he could directly see the pale shins. Tanji's calm judgment was that, based on his current bleeding volume, he died from excessive bleeding before the superhuman of Los Angeles recovered. Cannot give up. Tang Ji pulled out handcuffs from behind his waist, clasping them on his own prosthetic limb, and in the eyes of the enemy, crawling slowly towards the edge of the heavenly platform, leaving a trail of blood behind him. He remembered placing an aluminum thermite bomb in the garbage dump below the southwest corner of the rooftop, and he anticipated that he might encounter a superhuman that was difficult to kill, so he deployed many backers. For example, the aluminum thermite bomb in the trash can downstairs, or the inconspicuous restaurant kitchen 2 blocks away with a clean bathtub and 2 large buckets of strong acid placed next to it, but Tang Ji didn't expect that he didn't even make it through the first round. Fortunately, he still had a chance, and the distance was not far. That superhuman is still howling and making such a noise. Tangji felt an increase in resistance and turned around to find that the opponent was using their newly grown phalanges to buckle onto the ground, attempting to slow down Tangji's drag. He struggled to turn over, pulled out his pistol in an awkward position, and fired at the hand. The damage caused by bullets is slightly more effective than before, but it is still not enough to completely kill the enemy. Tangji emptied the magazine, but only shattered the enemy's palm. But it's okay, bullets can't kill, there's also gravity, and aluminothermic agents. The fence not far away has already been cut off by Tangji in advance, and a crimson arrow has been drawn on the ground, which is 70 meters high from the ground and directly facing the garbage bin equipped with aluminothermic bombs. Its purpose is to quickly destroy corpses and equipment, and now it is also good to perish with the enemy. Tangji can't wait to feel the sweetness of death. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Hunters and their hunt ends. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Hunters and their hunt ends. I bet the Scavenger 09 never dreamed of buying so many superpowers and being killed by others. What is the odds of winning against this law enforcement officer? Look, he really hates us. Sniper guns, flamethrowers, landmines. I feel guilty now. Should we send someone to rescue the Scavenger 09? The team should have time to intervene. Don't worry about him, these scavengers won't remember long until the last time they die. The sect has more important things to do. Disguiser 06. Don't think I don't know, you defeated that law enforcement officer and won. When this incident ends, you treat me to dinner. No problem. Count it on me. You just wait for the bleeding. Alright, it's time to get down to business and plan a new route for other scavengers. There are many people ambushed here today, it's like a night of revelry. Tang Ji felt like he was about to give up. If it weren't for his prosthetics still working properly, he wouldn't have been able to climb such a long distance with a strong man. Where are you taking me? Los Angeles's running dog finally grew a half-tongue, but unfortunately his gums and lips had not yet replied, and his speech was unclear. Can you make me a sauce? Salsa. I'm from Sabu's. I'll come back. Tang Ji gasped for breath and finally touched the edge of the rooftop. With one force, he pulled half of his body out and hung it outside the rooftop, saying, "Come back. Come on. Crazy. Crazy." The superhuman sensed his situation and tightly grasped the eaves of the rooftop with his almost recovered hand, struggling hard. Ha ha ha. Aren't you not afraid of death? Tang Ji burst out laughing wildly, as if trying to make up for his previous smile. He laughed uncontrollably and said, "Don't be afraid of death, let's embrace it together." Ah! The superhuman exhausted all his strength in an attempt to break free from Tangji, but the opponent just swung his fist, punching him in the face one by one. Death! 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 Tang Ji laughed wildly with blood in his mouth, reaching out and forcefully breaking the broken bone of his calf, fiercely thrusting it into the enemy's eyes. The convulsions caused by nerve damage made superhumans unable to persist anymore, and the two figures handcuffed together fell down like this. Tangji pressed the button of the detonator in mid-air, and the open garbage bin below ignited a towering flame, with flames reaching up to 3,000 degrees illuminating it like an entrance to hell. If you really can come back, I'm waiting for you. Tangji grabbed onto the superhuman body and laughed wildly as he fell into the flames. I never expected that the Scavenger 09 would never forget this death in his lifetime. If it were me, I would definitely have to go for psychological counseling. It's too miserable. Focus on your task, our torch team is about to appear. The commander coughed and gestured for his men to remove the drone that had been monitoring the battlefield. Don't be distracted by such a small matter. Tell the scavenger team that they can rest for a month on the 9th before returning to the team. The night of the first anniversary of the Red Sun was undoubtedly a lively night. The Los Angeles organization once again made a high-profile appearance, giving a speech at the location of the nuclear bomb explosion a year ago and demonstrating another activated nuclear bomb. The president watched the entire live broadcast at W Palace, angrily smashing 4 live broadcast equipment, causing the octagonal building to vibrate and 3 generals to step down overnight and leave. According to post-event statistics, on the night of the anniversary, over 600 elite soldiers responsible for blocking the scene sacrificed themselves without even showing any decent resistance. They did not expect the enemy to be in the command center, and every command they received led to a deadly trap. All technical equipment malfunctioned, communication was chaotic, and they fought on their own. The tactical team composed of superhumans organized by Los Angeles carried live streaming equipment and broadcasted to the world how the Alliance's soldiers were defeated. For superhumans and superhuman supporters on pilgrimage, last night was a night of revelry. The reappearance of the Los Angeles organization and the weakness of the Federation all represented the unstoppable rise of superhumans. Supermans realize for the first time that they have the ability to challenge social order. Of course, none of this will affect Tongji, because if everything is normal, he should have nothing left now. If everything is normal in the morning, the first ray of sunlight passed through the dust cloud and turned pink when it landed in the central area, but it was still warm enough to make people feel comfortable. Only 1/3 of the trash cans were suddenly pushed away from inside, and Tongji looked at the world in front of him with a bewildered expression. He didn't die. Or is it already in hell, just that hell is exactly the same as the world I used to live in? Wait, if this is hell, doesn't it mean I can still kill that bastard again? Tongji suddenly stood up and searched around for targets. But there was nothing to be gained, just 2 hippies who seemed to have not yet escaped from their hangover grinned as they passed by, pointing at Tongji and burst into laughter. One of them even threw a vest at him. Okay, Tongji finally confirmed that he wasn't dead. This place is as bad as yesterday, but he can't understand what exactly happened. He looked at his intact legs and then at his prosthetics, as if everything that happened last night was just a dream. Tongji went crazy searching through the debris in the trash can. If he was still alive, wouldn't that bastard from Los Angeles still be alive? Or did someone manipulate hallucinations and fool themselves? In his anger, he didn't notice that his metal prosthetic was tearing apart the metal debris with a gentle and effortless style, far exceeding the design limit and becoming more flexible. Pieces of melted metal were smashed by Tongji, and one must see a person alive or a corpse dead. Finally, Tongji found half-melted handcuffs in the corner of the trash can wreckage, with half a burnt skull hanging on the other side of the handcuffs. Tongji burst out laughing. That night, he laughed more than the past year, but he soon couldn't laugh anymore. Opening personal interface error, unable to read player ID error, found unrecognized user connecting to system. Error detected unauthorized behavior warning, rereading data. This ID is authorized. Error is rereading data. This ID is authorized. Rereading, a large amount of repetitive content washed through Tongji's consciousness, causing him to fall to the ground like a piece of wood. He seemed to see his brief life brushing through the screen in front of him, but unfortunately, there was not even a barrage. The memories of Angelina, the memories of the Red Knight, and the little chubby figure Enron, who has hardly cried since birth, have been repeatedly played. Reading data again. This ID has been authorized. Opening personal interface, user ID, Tongji data red error own points. 200 hunting list. Michael has been completely terminated. the relics library has been opened, all goods are exchanged at half price, either I'm crazy, or the world is crazy. P.S. So, the first 6 chapters have already sold the world background, the protagonist's image, and the golden finger. Friends who find it eye-catching can rest assured to consume it. I want to collect all the tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Legacy Vault. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 9. Street Wars. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Street Wars. Tanji wouldn't be foolish enough to spread what happened to him, but he also realized that the Los Angeles organization was far more complex than he thought. Su-T, this thing sounds like something disgusting like a parasite. Tanji was thinking about this and the background of the Los Angeles organization all the way, so he didn't notice being followed by several cars. Is that the car? Several gang members with tattoos nervously clenched their automatic weapons inside a small truck. On weekdays, they dare not attack law enforcement officers, but today is different. Last night, the Los Angeles organization just had a big scene in the central area, and today the entire night city seems to have returned to the months after the Red Sun incident. The Law Enforcement Bureau is almost paralyzed, the power institutions are in a state of exhaustion, various violent incidents occur frequently, and the entire city is in chaos, with streets like battlefields. That's the car. I'm sure someone posted the license plate number and address of that note online, and now the bounty amount has exceeded $10,000 federal. Sitting in the passenger seat, a boy dressed as a geek held up a live streaming device with an uncontrollable smile on his face. I'll turn on the live stream now, brothers, we're going to get hot. Today, we are city heroes. All the girls have to queue up for me to sleep. The driver stared at an explosive head, took out a pink inhaler from his pocket, took a hard breath, and trembled as he said, "Yeah. That's the feeling. Step on the gas door." The overloaded truck suddenly accelerated, squeezed into the opposite lane, and crashed into a long row of small vehicles on the roadside, pulling in the distance from the patrol vehicle. Hello everyone. We are the Hell Gang. The most ruthless small gang in Night City. The geek man aimed his camera at the car and shook the faces of several people one by one. Do you remember the anti-superhuman note from yesterday? That's right. Hell Gang will seek revenge. Give me that damn camera. The driver grabbed the camera in a fit of anger, his teeth almost sticking to the screen. I'm a superhuman. Watch me explode that note. The audience has exceeded 5,000 people, head. The gunman in the back row leaned over and showed off his most charming profile to the camera. I am. Get out. Don't stop me from driving. The toothless driver threw the camera back into the hands of the geek man. Take a good photo. The plan starts. I'm going to knock him over. Bang. Tang Ji's patrol car rushed forward, and then was fiercely hit by an off-road vehicle from the co-pilot's direction. The airbag immediately exploded, pressing Tang Ji tightly in the seat. Before he realized it, the black truck hit the patrol car directly from the driver's direction at an extremely high speed. The patrol car rolled back and forth on the ground for 2 times before stopping. Did you get it? Did you get it? The toothless driver excitedly got out of the car, holding a shotgun in his hand and shouting loudly. Got the boss. The audience has already exceeded 20,000. Geek man followed behind the toothless driver with a pistol. Someone has started giving us tips. The platform just uploaded our live broadcast on the homepage. Let's start working. Take that note out for me, I want it here. It's right here, blow his head out. The toothless driver stood in the middle of the road, roaring at the camera. 4 or 5 armed men immediately rushed forward, and the gang member, whose arms had been replaced with metal prosthetics, let out a loud roar and forcefully tore off the deformed car door. Bang! With a gunshot, a mist of blood exploded from the back of the prosthetic man's brain. Tang Ji seized this opportunity, broke his seat belt with one hand, and crawled out of the passenger seat in a disheveled manner. After experiencing the battle last night and with a vengeful attitude, he was indeed careless. As a law enforcement officer, Tang Ji has been ambushed 6 times in the past few years, with this one being the closest to death. If the other party chooses to directly shoot and strafe the patrol car, he is now a dead person. Fortunately, the leader seems to have an abnormal brain, he still has a chance. Head. The audience has already exceeded 150000. The geek man was not scared by the blood, but instead manipulated the drone to give the deceased a close-up shot, knowing what the audience loved to see. Shoot. Get the scene up. The toothless driver arrogantly lit a cigar for himself, shooting at the patrol car while shouting, "2 people, flank." Tang Ji leaned against the other side of the patrol car, feeling a bit annoyed. The equipment he carried with him had already been burned to ashes along with the dog from Los Angeles, and now he only had one pistol, which he had just snatched this morning. The good news is that this gun is very new, probably just bought recently. The bad news is that it is a cheap product produced by Jianlibo Company, claiming to use groundbreaking paper shell bullets, allowing you to unleash your firepower without worrying about bankruptcy. Of course, Jianlibo Company also guarantees that it will never hit any target 5 meters away, if it is purely accidental. The shot just now, Tang Ji fired it almost directly against the opponent's face, otherwise he might have fired a miss effect when encountering enemies with thicker skin. Tang Ji took a deep breath, propped himself up on the patrol car with his prosthetic limb, and leaped out to the right with a thrust, thanking the loud and blind commander for letting him know the enemy's deployment without taking the risk of observing the battle situation. He rolled forward to avoid the enemy's line of sight on the right, and before the enemy moved the muzzle, he pushed the industrial waste in his hand against the enemy's pants and fired repeatedly. Tang Ji didn't want to guess what liquid was boiling in his hand. He used a prosthetic to lift the howling enemy with one hand as a shield, carrying them and sliding into the rear of the right off-road vehicle. From sprinting to hiding again, he only took 4 seconds in total, and in the enemy's live broadcast footage, he didn't even have time to see his face clearly. Damn it, what happened? Here's a big shot to explain. Our public security is good, and law enforcement officers usually stand at attention and won't fight back. Isn't there a slow-motion replay? I'm a big member. What kind of thing has passed? 666, Night City deserves its reputation, and the level of street shooting is unparalleled in the entire league. Tang Ji not only seized an automatic rifle from the enemy's hands, but also obtained a PDA playing a live broadcast, with a dense barrage of bullets rolling over from above. 2 in the direction of 3 o'clock, 2 in the direction of 12 o'clock, and 1 in the direction of 10 o'clock, that's great. Tang Ji looked at Brother Bao Dan, who had already swallowed his breath, and rubbed the blood on his hand against his face. I have to thank you. The bullets made a crisp sound when loaded, and the gun was a military technology standard .226 rifle that rarely used caseless bullets. This thing should not have appeared on the streets, and Tang Ji could only believe that this small gang had its own special channel. But now, this big toy belongs to him. P.S. I saw many familiar ID votes, moved and grateful, end of this chapter. Chapter 10. Live Streaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Live Streaming. 2 consecutive 3-point shots, the little thugs circling from the left side were killed and injured. Compared to these idiots who relied on luck to make a living by shooting, Tang Ji's shooting movements were like instincts engraved on bones. There is a flexible material specifically designed to cushion recoil at the wrist of the prosthetic limb, combined with the special excitation method of caseless bullets, making this gun silky smooth on Tang Ji's hand. Just in front of him, half of the young men who dared to fight and charge under the rotten-toothed driver collapsed, leaving only one squatting on the roof, who was nominally a sniper, but in fact only a little black guy with some shooting talent, and a geek man hiding behind him operating a drone. Head, there are 1.5 million people. The geek man said cautiously, claiming to be a mental worker and not wanting to take bullets like the fools in front of him. Use your trump card. You don't have to say I know. The toothless driver crouched behind a sedan in a fit of anger, not just for the casualties of his subordinates. These stinky fish and shrimp were as much as he wanted when he got rich, but he couldn't bear the mocking words in the barrage. Open the warehouse. The toothless driver issued an order on his walkie-talkie, which was also engraved with the military technology logo. The decayed tooth driver awakened into a superhuman 6 months ago, and his ability is a rare electronic intrusion system. Although he only has a primary school diploma and his only understanding of electronic devices is to turn them on and off, his supernatural abilities are so unreasonable. When he awakens, he can instinctively crack the electronic locks of most devices. That geek man was attracted to this and abandoned his original job. He followed him and the two of them worked hand in hand. It took him several months to learn how to bypass the protective wall of an ATM and earn his first bucket of gold. Last night, by chance, the driver with rotten teeth hacked into the military's communication frequency and learned about the location of several operational bases. Early this morning, after hearing that the military had suffered a great loss, the toothless driver, with the attitude of seeking wealth and safety, emptied the equipment warehouse of one of the operation teams. Anyway, those dead people won't need it anymore, will they? A large amount of military equipment immediately inflated the small gang of rotten-tooth drivers, positioning Tang Ji's patrol car with their own abilities and preparing to become famous with one shot. Come out, Optimus Prime. The toothless driver shouted, and before everyone started laughing, a curled-up combat robot walked out of the truck carriage. The toothless driver put on synchronous window glasses emitting blue light and put on a pair of silver-white mechanical gloves with both hands. Game starts. He snapped his fingers, and the combat robot immediately stretched out its body, rising from a height of less than 1.5 meters to about 2.2 meters, with various weapons hanging from the columnar mechanical arms on both sides. Damn it! It's Snake Lizard .3. The gang in Night City has a clear vision. This is more exciting than watching a movie. Come on. I'm on the side of the law enforcement officers. Are there any allies? Damn law enforcement officer, when he shoots, he looks more like a killer than a killer. You know what? These idiots have all killed to their doorstep, and they haven't let anyone fight back yet. Tang Ji also watched the whole process through live streaming. His scalp was numb, his heart beating faster than when he fought against that superhuman last night. Last night's battle, Tang Ji prepared for a year and prepared multiple battle plans on multiple preset battlefields, but today's encounter was completely unexpected. And yesterday he had a heavy weapon against the enemy, today it happened to be the opposite. The Snake Lizard .3, which Tang Ji had only seen in advertisements of military technology companies before, is a true killing machine designed to create asymmetric attacks from the day it was designed. What is more powerful than it is not as flexible, what is more flexible is not as sturdy, and what is stronger than it is not as cost-effective. This series has been a flagship product in the industry from the beginning. And the one in front of me, obviously, has undergone some specialization and installed a large number of non-lethal weapons, such as metal capture nets, area deactivators, etc., but still retains a 9mm caliber rotary machine gun and a micro-missile launcher. When the Snake Lizard .3 appeared, the enthusiastic audience who had originally gathered in the distance to watch the excitement immediately dispersed, and the residents of the Night City had already grasped the size of the excitement. When to surround and when to disperse, it's clearer than new law enforcement officers. Head. The audience has exceeded 3 million. The official military technology account just gave us 20,000 federal coins as a reward. The geek man had already dodged into the truck and peeked out from the co-pilot to shout at the drone, "This is not an advertisement. We managed to get the Snake Lizard .3 ourselves, it has nothing to do with military technology." The rotten-toothed driver manipulated the snake lizard point 3 and pointed a machine gun at the geek man, saying, "Shoot me. Little bastard." I know. But military technology personnel sent me a private message to contact me, and if we don't clarify, our live broadcast room will be closed. The geek man sweated profusely as he controlled the camera to shoot the battlefield while handling public relations issues. Come on. Damn the anti-superhuman strip. Come and play 1.on.1 with me. After the amplification of the snake lizard point 3, the voice of the toothless driver echoed throughout the street. I will nail you to the wall and have every superhuman in the city give you a shot. Head. The person in charge of Blizzard Pharmaceuticals is asking for $100,000 federal dollars, asking you to hit the gun first before firing. The geek man once again poked his head out and shouted. So what's going on? What does Gile Pharmaceuticals do for TM? The toothless driver was very angry, feeling that his heroic and martial image had been repeatedly interrupted, which was disrespectful. It's the strawberry flavor you've been smoking for a long time, the geek man's words were forcefully interrupted by the toothless driver. No need to say more, I understand. The toothless driver took out an inhaler from his pocket and took a strong breath, causing his whole body to shudder. Great. Say something more. The geek man wished he could not replace him with his own body and could only insinuate. What did you say? The toothless driver turned around and asked, along with the tactile control of the Serpent Lizard 3, he also turned to look in the direction of the truck. Today is a good day for driving, a cold voice sounded in the ear of the toothless driver. Tang Ji covered the driver's hands with both hands from behind, and his prosthetic limbs contracted their 5 fingers, directly squeezing the other person's plump palm into a ball of mud, along with the action controller of the snake lizard point 3 being crushed. Damn it. How did you get to my side? The toothless driver with a synchronized window wanted to turn back and look at Tangji behind him, but was immediately caught in his chin by an iron hand. Aim at your truck and fire, Tangji said as he poked a hole in the driver's cheek with his finger. Every time I count, I press one of your teeth into the gums. I've used this trick before, and they all say it works. 1. End of this chapter.